Hi there once again. Well, we're going to make another design that incorporates some of the improvements to the design that I've made over the last few pair of moccasins. This pair that I'm showing you right now is one of my latest additions, and I'm keeping these ones for myself, and we'll have a separate video on these in the near future. Okay, to start with, we're going to be working on and making a pair of moccasins that will fit a size 9 foot. Now, I'll just show you something. I know I've been making my moccasins according to the inch scale, just using a ruler and drawing your foot out and using that as the size for your moccasins. I've photocopied, or I've copied some different sizes of feet, and their corresponding length in both centimeters and in inches. Okay, so when people talk about, we'll just use our size 9 as an example. So on my measurement, a size 9, it is the length of 9 inches. Okay, and yet, for whatever reason, whoever designed these foot lengths, a size 9 is actually, according to this scale, 10.04 inches or 25.5 centimeters. And at the same time, if you go over to another set of conversion charts, a size 9 over here in the men's is a 10.25, so it's a quarter of an inch longer on this one. And in the woman's, a size 9 is 8 7/8 inches, or 9 7/8 inches. So even amongst these people that make these charts, they can't fully decide on what the different sizes are. But I will be, for now on, giving you the size according to what you would find in a shoe store, a size 8 or size 9, giving the length in centimeters of your foot and the length in inches of your foot. So that way you'll be able to cross-reference all of the different sizes. Okay. So we are going to start on with a size 9. I guess that would be men's. And a size 9 is 25.5 centimeters and 10.04 inches. But here we go with our size 9. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this just the same way as we've done the other ones. So we draw out the pattern that we've traced off of our foot. Okay, and then the next thing that we do, let's just take and measure our distances of halfway up. Okay, so halfway is going to be 4.5 inches right there. And what we want to do is to add on because this is a smaller size, I usually add on 3/4 of an inch, but this time let's just add on 1/2 an inch. That 1/2 an inch is going to open up the opening of the moccasin to enable you to get into, to slide into the moccasin easier. Okay, and then I'm going to measure down to the bottom of the paper, which is 8 1/8. Okay, 8 1/8 here. And 8 1/8 here. Okay, and then we'll draw our line across there. Now we need to put in some markings for our toe allowance. And in this case we're going to use 1 9/16 toe allowance. Okay. So I have a little sticky tab here. And what I do is start at the top and start drawing our lines around the top of the toe. And we go far enough until the point that we just start turning to make so that they come out smaller. And then we do the same on this side. Okay, so there we've got our marks for our toe allowance. Okay, and then once we started coming in to get smaller, once we've got that point, we draw a line down to the bottom of our paper. Now, if you don't have a set square or a T-square like this one, you'll have to measure from the edge of the paper over, and then from the edge of the paper down from the other side. Okay, so now we've got our two outside measurements here. Now, if you've been with me in the past and have worked out these moccasins, what we can see is that the heel is no longer in the center where we want it. So you can see that our width here, I'll just go up here, it's easier to see, is about 6 7/8 inches. And yet our heel, which, let's see, 6 7/8, so that's going to be about 3 7/16. Okay, so you can see that we're off quite a bit here. So we're going to go to 3 7/16. Should be right about there. Okay, and then let's check this side. And that's pretty close. Okay, well, we're not too bad off. And then in the past, what I've done is I've erased this, and I've moved the, oh, I should show you, I've got little holes marked here as reference points. Okay, and then from there I've moved the heel over to our new location, and you can see that it is somewhat different. And with that, I will just take a red marker, and so red is now going to become our working shape, our working pattern. Okay. The blue line here is erasable quite easily, and especially with heat, but we'll just leave that. Okay, so now once we've got that far, I'm going to extend our horizontal line here a little bit more. Okay, now what we need to do is to draw from the point on the moccasin where we jump up to the ankle. Now the ankle is going to be up here, of course, so let's draw a circle, and what I've found works very well is the lid off of an ice cream pail, and this one I've cut in half. So if you take your ice cream pail lid and mark it at these points and draw your circle there, and the same on the other side. Now that will be the place where we start jumping up. Now normally this would be the place where our ankle starts. Okay? So, yeah, that's where the two join. And usually it's about 3.5 inches high. Let's see this side here. 3.5. Okay. So there's 3.5, and 3.5 there, 3.5, 3.5, and then connect the two together. Now that becomes the top of our ankle. Okay, and now what I found is that by having this top of the ankle so far forward, is that it causes a lot of the fabric, a lot of leather, when you tighten things up, to be bunched in right above your above your arch, or above your I guess right where your ankle starts. So what I would recommend is moving back about 3/4 of an inch. Should work just fine. So you've got your line there. Now move back 3/4 of an inch on each side. Now this is something new, so you won't have seen this before. Now let's see what we can do with it. Okay, so I'll do this in red too, because it is a change from our original design. Okay, so that's that one. And that's that one. So now they've stayed where it starts. Well, it starts fairly close to where it needed to be originally, and but we've cut some of this leather off, so this leather won't be here anymore. In fact, what I should do is make it start at the same original place. Okay, so there's where we're going to cut our pattern out, right at the same spot, there and there. Okay, now right at the back of our heel. Let's see how that is. For what I'm going to do is just adjust the camera down just a bit. Okay, so what I do is allow 1 inch for the allowance behind the heel of the moccasin. Okay, so we're on the red. This ruler is 1 inch wide, so I just use that. Then what you can do is measure again from the end of your paper, and this is 2 3/16, and make yourself some marks on the other side. Okay, and then connect those lines. And then, like I said, this is a 1 inch wide ruler. Yeah, hi, I had a little glitch with my camera, so I'll just carry on where we left off. And as I said, the width on this ruler is 1 inch, so we're going to use it to draw in our heel allowance on the back. Okay, so it's 1 inch behind, and that allows for our heel to, for the fabric to have a place to go. Okay, so we'll give it the 1 inch allowance. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we find the center of our heel right there and draw a line straight down. Okay, and then from that line put a mark 1 inch on each side of it. Okay, and then from that go down to where you intersect the line below it. So what you end up with is 2 1 inch squares. Okay, so we're looking like that. Now the next thing we need is a protractor. And what we do is from this point here on the lower right hand side of the box, we take our protractor and set it up like this, with our center going on this line and the horizontal line on the bottom. And what we're looking for is 15 degrees. Okay, so there's 5, 10, 15 degrees. You put a mark there. Then go to the other side and do exactly the same thing. Okay, so working backwards from 180, 170, 165. So that's 15 degrees there. Then take your ruler and draw a line from the corner, catching that 15 degrees and coming out to the top of your moccasin, to the top of the ankle. Now, if after you cut this out, if on your leather, on your material, which you probably will have, you have some extra, don't cut it off. This is actually the cut line for the material, cut line. And we're going to leave, if you have it, leave 1/2 inch of extra material in behind that line on each side. Okay, doesn't have to be square or anything, just because it makes it easier when you fold it over on the to the inside. And if you're working with thick leather, you will need to skive. I think this is how you spell it. You need to skive the leather in this box and thereabouts. Now I'll just show you what it looks like. There's several different skivers. This one here works, I found it works just about the best. And the blades are really inexpensive. The blades are used, I guess, for cutting dead skin off your feet. But so they advertise it for that, as well as it's used for skiving leather. So you just skive it and make it at least half as, cut it down to about half. Here's another one. Looks like I took the blade out. These blades for this machine are quite expensive, so I've gone and I use this one fairly frequently. If you have a knife that's sharp, you can use that. I just thought I'd show you. And by skiving this leather in here, when you fold up for the heel, it makes it a lot easier. In fact, I'll just show you. Okay, so when you skive it, if you can skive this area in here where you fold it over, and it'll make it a lot easier for you. When it comes time to add the rivet, it'll be much easier. Okay, so once we've got that, what we're going to, I put those shoes away. I'm going to get them and just show you, so I'm just going to pause you. Okay, now on another video I showed you the shoe and how it is sloped to bite into your ankle, into your heel a little bit, and that keeps it from sliding off. And we want to incorporate that same amount, that same idea into our moccasins. This distance is about 3/4 of an inch, but we're just going to put a 1/2 inch. Okay, now we've got this line that comes down here. That was the edge of our toe allowance. So take your ruler and measure up the distance you've decided to go on that line, on that vertical line. So there's our 1/2 inch, and there's our 1/2 inch. Okay, then from there you'll go to the outside corner on our box, like this, and then up to the top of the ankle. Now we've incorporated that part of the shoe into our moccasins. And then you can smooth it out, just take something round and kind of make it rounded like that. I think that what we'll still do is when we fold everything in to sew it, I think we'll still sew this seam, and then we'll come back and then we'll sew this one. Okay, and then when we turn it inside out, we should have this protrusion keeping the moccasin on. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. This one is maybe a little bit small. Something bigger like our ice cream pail might have been good. Okay, now I think that that is going to be pretty well all that we need for this pattern. So the next thing you would do is to be cutting it out and using it, placing it on the leather. But before we go any further, what I want to do is to talk about the toe, or the upper part, the vamp. And this design, same as with the other one, was designed for denim, which this one is, again folding it over so there's no raw edges. But now we're going to get rid of that, okay, because we're working with the straight leather. There's no need to fold it over. Okay, so we'll just cut that out, and you can cut it in the same shape as the foot outline that you're using. Okay, there we go. Now I used to take and make it wider up here at the back, but that's adding in extra fabric that is bunching up in the front of your arch, or in the front of where your foot starts to slope up. Now, in order not to waste leather, what I found is that when it comes time to make your toe, line it up and pick your leather piece that you're going to use. But now you only need about half of your heel to get yourself enough leather that it will reach up to the height that you want. Okay, so you don't have to take this whole piece and turn and cut out a leather piece this big, because you're just wasting leather. We'll just add a little bit extra. Okay, so now that is what your toe would look like when you're done with it, and that would sit on your moccasin and then slope up to where this piece joined it here and this piece joined it here with some rivets, and so those are your two design pieces that are required. Okay, after that it's just embellishing the different pieces of it and making it look nice to your satisfaction. So those are what we're doing with the pattern. Those were the changes that needed to be made, and so with that I think we can carry on and start working on the leather. So once again, thank you for stopping by, and we'll just carry on choosing our leather and drawing up the pattern. Have a good day.